So welcome to a new episode of the RotBox Podcast. Please don't forget to check our other channel, McCann 64, and of course our special guest, Mat Armstrong. You might know him from his early days as a BMXer, or maybe has now given you inspiration to repair your own car. Welcome.
Thanks for the invite. And a good introduction.
Was that all right?
Yeah, I like that.
Do I get a job? The cost.
That's it.
So I think we'll talk a few things about, I think really people might want to be interested, well, we'll want to be interested in your background and the inspiration to where you started YouTube and where it's got to now, and sort of how you can explain to the people watching how maybe they can follow your path and become a multi-millionaire, billion subscriber.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Mr. Beastie's coming for you. So yeah, where did it all start?
Okay, how far back we're going? Let's go with YouTube. Like, let's say creating a YouTube channel. It was never meant to be a full-time job. It was always I was always BMXing, and so to enter in BMX competitions, you'd have to make a video, send it to the competition. They sort of decide whether you're good or not. Same with sort of sponsors as well. You put a video out, like a web edit, that's what we used to call it. Put it out like a 3-minute video of all your best tricks. And that's where you picked up sponsors from, got into competitions from. So I sort of learned the basics of editing there. And then like just being daft in front of the camera that way. And I didn't really think you could make a living through YouTube. I didn't even realize it was a thing. I just used to put videos out, and that was the thing. And it slowly, well, I say slowly, it didn't even slowly move into cars. It was just like I was always into cars. So it sort of just made that jump.
And do you remember what sort of numbers you were getting in the early days?
Oh my God. No. We used to upload on Vimeo to start off with, and we was doing about 3,000, 4,000 views per BMX video. And it was like, I think the thing was
still good though.
Yeah, we was doing like quite well. And then it made the transfer over. I don't know why we transferred from going over from Vimeo to YouTube. It was something to do with MySpace. Sure it was something to do with MySpace, where you could share it easier, or Facebook. No, it's Facebook. That was it. I got Facebook, and it was something to do with that. It was easier to share. You could watch it easier on an app on a phone. So we changed over to YouTube. And then when we started doing more stuff on YouTube, it was harder for the views, I think. I don't know why. I think it was like 100, 200 views each time. But I wasn't really looking at the views. I just made it to like in a year's time. Yeah, in a year's time, you'd look back at it and think, oh, I've progressed so much and that was it really. And then I think when I started really, I don't know why I started really filming on cars, just at very start with, I think I just put one of my cars on. I was always interested in them. I just thought, I'll put a YouTube video up of my car. People were interested in what I did to it. And then it just dipped and dabbed between cars and BMX. And then the main thing was when Hannah, who's behind the camera, was my girlfriend, she crashed her Audi TT.
Boss.
Yeah, so she had an Audi TT. That's where I think most people would have picked up from the channel, like the real OGs. She had an Audi TT. She crashed it going home from work, and the damage wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough to write it off. And then I think she had a £4,500 payoff from the insurance. And we said, oh, just buy like Instinct. What would it be to buy it back? And they said £600. I thought, it's a bargain. I fixed that in a couple £100. So that's where the sort of like salvage rebuilds began. Yeah. It was like, I bought that back for £600. I used to film the stuff so I knew how things went back together, and then just uploaded it on YouTube. And learning to talk in front of the camera was just a thing you've slowly progressed with. I think everyone does. But yeah, that's where it really progressed from that.
And that was all on a GoPro?
Yeah, it was a GoPro. Yeah, it was stock GoPro phone, that sort of stuff. I wasn't really bothered about the quality. I didn't really know much about editing or what was a good thumbnail, what wasn't. It was just put it up and people started watching it. And it was more the Audi TT fan base that started watching it and started getting into it, and they helped me out. It actually helped a lot, saying, oh, you can get this part from here or that part from there. And that's what helped it really. So it was like, really, it benefited me as well by doing that.
And when did you think, this is a transition where I can actually start trying to make something of this? Obviously, Because you had other jobs as well, didn't you then?
Oh yeah, I've constantly been working. Like I used to be one of these people that set out like a plan. It's like, right, in this so many years, I'm going to do this, and this years, I'm going to do that. So I was never had any qualifications or anything special that sort of way. So I've sort of seen my only way of like getting out of this 9 till 5 was by saving up a deposit for a house, buying a house. I knew you couldn't lose money in houses. You didn't need any qualifications to buy a house. You could do it up just through hard work. You don't really need any skills to be able to do that, really. And then that I was going to rent them out or refinance them or sell them. And I was just going to go from there. So every time I was just working a 9 till 5, finish my 9 till 5, working 6 till 10 at an Indian restaurant in the evenings.
As well,
yeah. It was 7 days a week I worked at the restaurant for, wasn't it? 7 days a week I worked at Spice 45. Shout out them. Best.
They can sponsor this, actually.
That's it. And that was, it was, and I think that's what really helped me learn to work on cars as well a lot, because I used to do so many miles in my car, delivery driving.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's where it started off. It was like delivery driving is where I started doing it. And then you do so many miles. So you need to there's bits and bobs that go wrong with your car, and you just like try and fix them along the way, that sort of stuff. And then worked 9 till 5 at Graham Goo Racing, which was a Ford performance place. And I just didn't see any reason to quit the job at the restaurant. So I just used to finish at 5, drive straight to the restaurant. It used to take me half an hour from Graham Goo's to get there. So finish at 5, drive there, get there at 5:30, get changed, and then work at the restaurant 7 days a week, 5 days a week at there.
That car must have stunk.
Oh yeah, it was bad. What did I start off with? I did delivery driving first in a Fiesta, then it moved to a Lupo, and they were all modified cars. They were like the worst cars you could have. But it eventually got to the point where my cars were so stupid that I ended up working behind the bar rather than doing delivery driving, because the cars were so low to the floor. I can't take
only take a starter.
Yeah, I couldn't take the deliveries to certain places because the car was too low, that sort of stuff. So it just expanded from there, really.
Did you ever try YouTube with the houses?
Not really, did we? The thing is with houses, and I still think that today, is with a car, you can work on a car for a full week and it look completely different to what it does in 1 week. YouTube, with a house, you could work on a house for a full week, rewire it or whatever. It looks no different to what it did.
Or worse.
It's got to be, you could do YouTube with houses, I imagine, but it's got to be a much longer stint, really. Like you've got to be uploading once every couple of months or so to actually have some. I imagine like the videos on houses would do really well if it was like building a house in 10 minutes. People would love that, but it would take a year to film it. It's not quite as effective with the houses as it is with cars. But we did film a funny video, which people could find. We did like a Homes Under the Hammer sort of like outtake. You would have to watch it after this. We completely absolutely took off Homes Under the Hammer and showing what we did to the house, how it was before, because we filmed everything before, filmed everything afterwards, and I was like dressing up as, what's the bloke on it? I can't remember his name. But I dressed up as him, didn't I? And I was the estate agent. We did everything. It's still on my channel. It was quality that well. Got a copyright strike, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
And so you started doing sort of like the videos of the car, and when did you sort of see sort of some numbers where you thought maybe I can start thinking about backing down, because that must have been a massive step to stop earning money?
It was during lockdown. It was
not that long ago then?
No, not long ago. Like, it's only been about 3 years really. It's like completely changed everything. It was about a year I was doing it with the TT, just uploading when I had time, because I didn't really have much time, and it was not really going out my way to film YouTube videos for YouTube. It was just whatever I was doing, I was filming it. So if I was repairing the car, I'd film it, but I wouldn't think, I can't film this weekend because of this, that and the other. I was just doing it as and when.
So it wasn't a regular upload?
No, it wasn't like a regular thing. And then I think I started getting monetized, and it was like, I was only like £40 a month or £50 a month. And like, I was like, oh, that's brilliant, because I was paying my gym membership, or I was paying whatever, like it was extra. And then I thought, oh, you can actually make money from this if I was doing like really good views. So I started getting into it more. And then during lockdown, I think just before lockdown, I started earning about £200 or £300 a month. And I thought it was like the best thing on earth. And then it was, lockdown went, I'd saved up another deposit for a house. I think I've saved just over £10,000 to put a deposit down on another house, a cheap one to do up. And then lockdown happened and everyone was a bit iffy about buying houses because no one knew whether it's going to go up, going to go down, because people were losing jobs, getting furloughed. I thought, it's probably not a good time for me to buy one. And I was sitting at home. It was going to be for at least 5 weeks. What should I do? What can I make money from? Or what can I...
So you were furloughed?
Yeah, I was furloughed from my job. And in the end, we was like, well, should I risk it and buy a crash damaged Bentley Continental GT? That's what we see. It was originally going to be an A45 we seen, but this Bentley popped up and it was £10,000. So I thought, why not? Like, well, should we just risk it and go all out for it? And I think people will find out that when you do go 100% into something, you get 100% out of it. And
you bought that car for YouTube to create content.
So, like, I love the car. Like, it was a car I've always wanted, but it would never be financially right for me to ever buy one of them. Like, it was just like they just fuel guzzlers and to repair it. But I just saw it as a risk. I thought it might bump the channel up more, reach more people. And I think then I had about 30 or 40,000 subscribers from it blew up a bit in January when I got an Audi S5. And that's when I started getting a bit more regular to it. And people then start commenting, when's the next video? And that's when it gets you you get a bit more pressure to put videos out then. And I really started enjoying it. It felt more of a thing that I was really made for. So I always messed around with editing videos. I really love cars. And I was sort of creative and thinking of like new ideas. And this YouTube stuff was like a full, everything I like doing into one. So it really felt like, I'd love to do this as a job. And then as soon as the Bentley came, it started just earning more and more money. And it was the sponsorship that really took it off, really. That was the first sponsor that opened my eyes of it. But yeah.
And the numbers, would they change when you went to bed to when you woke up?
Yeah, it was going ridiculous. I remember overnight everything was going so fast, building up. And an agency messaged me saying, this person would like to sponsor a video for you. And at the time I had sponsored videos before, but I was just saying, give me 50 quid for it. Like, I didn't realise what the worth of it.
Imagine them now and they've looked at those. I know. Those videos must still be now on hundreds of thousands.
They're doing really good views. Yeah. And I was saying, just give me 50 quid for it or this, that and the other. And they kept coming back and I thought, it's brilliant like this. And then when an agency says, you should be charging £2,000. And I was like, what? I was like, I wouldn't even earn it in a month of working my full-time job and I'll do it for one video. And that's when I was like, okay, now I'm really going to crack down on it. Yeah. And when I picked up this sponsorship, I ended up signing a year-long contract with them and it got to 5 weeks down the line. And then my boss called me back into work and I was like, okay, I've got to go back in. Like YouTube isn't as sustainable. I was a bit worried about it. I went back in for a week, but my mind was just not at the job. I was thinking about replying to comments, getting back to emails, thinking of the next video I could film. And when you're trying to work and the job I was doing at Graham Goods, it was more thinking really it was like buying in new products for the business and marketing them and things like that. Your mind's got to be there to work. And when it ain't there, it wasn't really fair on the boss for me being there. So I had to just...
So without furlough?
Yeah, without furlough, I wouldn't have known. But I'm so glad furlough happened because there's so many people out there that do work a job and they think, it's all right, it gets me by, I can't leave. But when you realise what's on the other side, it's completely different.
And I'm sure 99% of the world haven't got that sort of, that gamble.
No. I understand. I try to push people more and more in my videos to make a jump, take a risk, that sort of stuff, because you are here for only once. I understand there's a lot of people, they've got kids, they've got mortgages and that sort of stuff, it is hard to let go, but they'll live with that forever. And then they'll regretting things that they didn't do rather than things that they did. So you've got to take that jump. Like, I'm so glad I did. But I couldn't imagine what it'd be like if I didn't. It was completely life-changing. Life-changing.
Like now, is it sort of, do you still have that love for BMX or more for cars or?
So with the BMX stuff, it was, I'd still like to ride my bike but it was more competitive back then. And then when I was riding just before lockdown, I weren't the best rider in the world. I weren't winning competitions or anything like that. But where I made money through BMXing was the demos. So I was doing a lot of shows. So we had like a jump box that we'd set up somewhere, and like a company would pay us to do shows. Then we'd have like it was more of like a performance thing, really. So you're doing the set tricks, easy enough done. And again, it was doing something I loved for money, and there's no bad things about it. It was easy, but it's just during the summer, really. That's when like businesses break up or kids are on holiday and you're doing these shows. Now the guys do a lot of shows at Butlins and that sort of stuff. So it was really good fun, but that's where you earn your money. And then obviously during lockdown, all of that ended. So there was
no shows.
I didn't want to ride my bike and get myself put in hospital. During that time, there was no reason for me because I wasn't competing. I wasn't doing shows. So it's just really riding for fun. But the love for cars has always been there. So now I don't know what it is. It's just there's not a motivation to go out. I was only enjoying myself on a bike when I was going out and pushing my level to the next stage. So So now you go out and you have fun, but it's more of a leisurely thing. Whereas before I used to go there and think, right, if you're on the borderline of killing yourself, that's when you enjoy it. Whereas I don't want to do that now. It's different.
So say the Bentley.
Yeah.
Obviously you bought the car, had the cost of repairing it, had some revenue for ads and etc. And then when you sell these cars, do you still make money on the car?
So we tried this first with the Audi S5. The first one we did was an Audi S5. I bought that for £5,000. It wasn't crash damage, but it was a category S, bought from Birmingham, and it was in a really bad condition.
Choice.
Yeah, really bad choice. I mean, we built it up and we made it look like an RS5. And at the time, one of my friends had set up like a competition company. And I thought, well, it might be worth a go at seeing if we could almost raffle off the car to the people that were watching it. And at the time I was getting quite good views. Well, really good views, actually. I think at the time we had like 30,000 subscribers or 40,000 subscribers, and we're still doing 100,000 views per video. It jumped up massively. And I thought, well, if we could raffle it and people were buying the tickets, someone could win a car for like next to nothing that they've seen rebuilt. I thought that could work brilliantly. Worst case, we'd sell it. We sold the Audi TT. We did that. So I messaged him and said, do you fancy raffling off my car? He goes, yeah, we'll give it a go. And at the time we did £30 a ticket, which sounds so expensive now, but I was worried that we wouldn't sell the amount of tickets. I can't remember how many. I think we did £10,000 in sales for it. That was like what we capped it at. Because I didn't want to look like I was taking the piss. Can I say the piss? Yeah. I didn't want to look like I was taking the piss for a bit. So I was just happy to make my money back that I'd put into the car, because I'd made my money for the ad revenue and things like that. And I thought, if I can do it that way and just be honest about it, I hope it would work. And we did the £30 a ticket. We put the competition up, and within an hour and a half, or half an hour probably, less than an hour on the Audi S5, all of the tickets sold out and it was gone. And then we had to pick a winner. A lad called Craig won it. And that was again another step. It was like, oh my God, this is literally this can work. If I can do this for every car.
Because then you've got no risk, have you? Because if you do that in your spare time, you've got your iPhone, you've got your computer at home.
Yeah.
Then really your sort of outgoings.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. I could build a car. I could do it the way I wanted it. People could view it. And then if I can make my money back through the competitions, then also make content for the people that win it, because they get to collect it. There's a buzz about watching it as well. And everything works. Like, it just felt so, people say like things happen for a reason, but I think it did. It just all linked in. And then when we did the Bentley, we did the same thing. And because the cars were so cheap, it was like my audience only had to be small. And the Bentley was, I think we did about £20,000 worth of ticket. I bought it for 10,000. I'd spent maybe about just under 10,000 for it. So I'd always go, right, I just want my money back from the car. And that again sold out instantly. A lad won it called Jack, down south he was, and he won it for 10 quid. And it's like I got to make content of that. There was a buzz about watching the live draw, and everything just moved into the other. And then it became a thing then. Everyone was like, I can't wait for you to do this car because I'm going to put my money down on a ticket.
So everyone was looking forward to the raffle.
Yeah. Everyone became looking forward to the raffle. They get to see how the car was built and everything like that. And then again, it's nothing like you're always going to get people that don't like what you do on YouTube. And like I knew that was going to happen. And the thing is with the raffle stuff, no one's forced to buy a ticket. So it works.
I think when we've talked about raffles before and say, some people unfortunately will never have that £10,000 and their only chance to ever own that £10,000 car is to gamble that bit of money. And because unfortunately that's their only way. So there is, it's great for some people, isn't it? It's a fantastic way to get that dream car.
100%. But it's so crazy that I just find it mental how people were paying, like it is a crash damaged car and I'm not a mechanic or anything like that. I've rebuilt it and people are still happy to like pay for the raffle ticket to buy the car. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is...
Do you think that's because Mat Armstrong has repaired it?
That's it. I think it's more of... I think a lot of people were buying it to support the channel. So it was like... I think a lot of people wanted to win the car. There's that thing. But then again, if they weren't winning, no one was salty about it. Everyone was like, oh, I've supported the channel. And then they can clearly see that the money that I've got from that goes straight into another build.
Yeah, because that's something you've always been really visible on, isn't it? You're sort of transparent,
that's it.
On the numbers and the costs.
Yeah, I think it's the best way. And I think they can see I don't go around buying like really expensive clothes or that sort of stuff and it looks like I'm flaunting it, or I have a love for cars and any money I have just goes on cars, and that's really good for the audience because then they get to watch their cars being rebuilt. They get to a video every week and that sort of stuff. So they've got the peace of mind knowing, okay, even if I don't win this car, then it's going to go into even better content that I can watch. And it works so well. Like it's weird how well it works, and until it doesn't work, I won't change it. So that's the other thing. Other people would say, "Oh, it's just the same thing every now." But
we did another podcast recently with somebody else, and their content is very, very similar every week, every day.
Yeah.
But their views are absolutely massive.
Yeah,
it works.
Why?
And people, and yes, it is the same, but people obviously enjoy watching the same.
100%. People. There's people out there that will comment on my videos and say, oh, I'm a bit bored of it now. It's the same thing over and over again. But the thing is, my channel's growing and the views are growing higher. And look at McDonald's, the menu's the same every single day. They may have the odd little change in it, but why change? They're not going to change the menu every week. It might not work. It might, they've got something that works. Keep it the same way. Maybe add the odd little special thing here and there.
But that's what people have subbed for as well. They've subbed to see what you're doing.
That's it. But no, it's only been really like 3 years of doing it. So, but it's so interesting to find out more like the YouTube world of it and the YouTube side of it, and I learn so much more as I go through it and what works, what doesn't work.
And you said that bad comment of that guy, and do those comments still stick in your mind?
You're bound to get them, and then you see. The thing is, it's really hard not to see a bad comment because there is 1,000 good comments. There'll be 1,000 good comments and then there'll be one bad one. But you always look at it and think, oh, is he right? But
yeah.
You just...
And like you say, the percentages of that is like 0.1%.
Yeah.
So, but it's so hard to think.
It is hard.
But yeah, so it is, comments are a real... Yeah,
that's it.
It can be a dark place, can't it?
I know, 100%. You can look at all the bad comments and it can make you feel bad and you think, oh, I'm not as good as I think. It's...
Pack this in.
Yeah, that's it. You can look at it that way. And that's why a lot of people do give up on the YouTube side of things. They'll see the negative comments or they'll see the thumbs down or they don't see the positive ones. And then that's what loses their sort of motivation because they're just getting negative comments. But as soon as you kind of realize that, doesn't matter what you do, you will get negative comments. Like you could be the most liked person on earth and you'll still have people saying that you're not right or you don't like them or they've done this, they've done that. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be, if everyone liked the same thing, it would just be a strange world. So
do you get people sort of like commenting saying that you've done it wrong?
100% all the time. I think that's why my content works, because I probably don't. I don't do it right half the time. Like I just do it my way, and that's the way I say it. I don't claim to do stuff right or buy the book or anything like that. But I even have. It makes me weird thinking about it. But I have like even the Aston Martin techs were watching me rebuild an Aston Martin, and if I think about it too much, I'm like, oh God, like I'm dreading to think what they're thinking about me doing this. But a lot of them, when I got there, they were saying, oh, we learnt so much from you, like from rebuilding the car.
From the main dealership.
Yeah, from the main, and they were like, we didn't know that part was a Renault part, or we didn't know that you could get that part off a jack, because they wouldn't know really, would they?
They're not spending their money, are they?
That's it. And then it opens your eyes to realise that most people around the world are just winging it. They're not, it's not like you think of an Aston Martin tech and he does everything by the book, talks everything to spec, this, that and the other. They were a lad in the garage or on the driveway back in the day doing it. Same with the lads at Bentley. When we went to Bentley and Crew, I was thinking they're going to hate me because I'm doing this all on my driveway and with like wood chisels and bloody things like that. And when I got there, they were like, we were all the same back in the day. That's what we used to do. And so it's relatable.
It's mad they were watching though, isn't it? Just think that they were like...
It makes me feel weird when I think like there's people like that watching, or there's genuine like body shops watching and this, that, and the other. And they're probably like cringing at what I'm doing. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's the best. I don't try to be professional about it. I would literally, I don't try to be professional. I would just do it the way I do it and take it how it comes. It's the best way, I think.
So do you get recognised much?
Now, yeah, by people that you wouldn't even think watch the channel. But I think, again, after lockdown, you just see numbers on a screen. And then after lockdown ended, and I remember just being at a services, filling up the car, and just a bloke in a white van just like, oh, watch you on YouTube, can I get a photo? And I was like, yeah, okay, well, that's a bit weird, isn't it? And then just like shortly after that, we had another person with the same, like asking for a photo. And I was like, this is a bit strange. And you don't realise that the numbers on the screen are actual people. Yeah, but now it's mental, the amount of people that like would come up to you. People you wouldn't even think, you see them looking at you, they're like, oh, do I know him or not? And then they come up to you, how's Kevin? This, that and the other. Because they know, they watch your whole video, so they know pretty much everything about you. And then you just think in your head, right, do I know this person or do they just watch my videos? That's the hard thing about it.
Like say, when there's somebody who's a hardcore fan and they say stuff which you've even forgot about.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, like, oh, how's this? Or, I remember when you did this to this car or that to that car. I'm like, did I? I completely forgot about that. But yeah, it is so bizarre, really, because I guess it's not like a normal TV celebrity world, because I just make the videos in my own unit, then edit my own videos, put them out, and then you just see numbers on the screen. There's no interaction with anyone in between that. So,
and when did you think to yourself, I'm making a difference here? I don't mean to use the word famous, but you think, yeah, I am now well known for what I do. Was there a moment when you saw a big, massive and thought, this is working? It
was only very recently when I was sort of a bit overwhelmed with it. Was that show you went to, Gravity?
Oh, the queue for you.
And we had a stall there, and then we had a massive queue with people that just wanted to take photos. They were buying like a jet tag from the store. I was signing it and then having a photo taken. And that was just like, when I saw the queue and how many photos I was having, it just felt so weird. And that was when I was like, okay, there is so many people that enjoy it. And if you look to the queue, it's not all 30-year-old blokes all the way to the back. It was like a 30-year-old bloke, then there was like a 25-year-old woman, or then like a young girl, young lad, older bloke, everyone from all different types of backgrounds and everything. We all love the channel, and that's when you kind of feel like, wow, it's next level, really.
And when they speak to you, what sort of thing do they say?
Like, mate,
some nice ones.
That's the thing, I can't really. I don't know how to respond, because I'm like, I love your channel, I watch you on YouTube. What do I say? I don't know what to say to them. So, thanks. But it's normally, we've had some really good stories with people who have came into Mallory Performance, and I've been sat there editing a video or something like that. And we've had like blokes who, like war veterans who have came in and they've got it's PTSD, isn't it? I know. Is it what?
Yeah, PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD.
Traumatic stress.
Yeah, and they said
PTSD.
like they've came out, they worked for the army or whatever, and they said they had PTSD for years and they just like locked themselves up in the room and they just can't bear going out. And it said like my videos have helped them get through that. And I'm
amazing.
Like, what you think rebuilding a car has helped you get through that? I think I can't get my head around why that would help you. And it's like, oh, you're so positive in the videos, even like your problem solving, nothing ever gets you down. And it's like, I just do what I do. You don't think I'm consciously doing that to make people happy. It's like, that's just the way I'll take things. But yeah, we've had so many good stories of saying like, oh, or they've like split up with a girlfriend or they've lost their job and then they've watched my videos and it's given them motivation to go out and do something. And like, I think that's amazing, but I don't consciously think like that to inspire people to do that. It's just, I do what I do. So that's the other side of things that you kind of have to think about as well when you're making the videos, who's watching them for what reason, because people watch them for so many different reasons. It's next level really. Like some people watch it because they like Hannah and the dog and like the family side of things and that side of stuff, or they like watching it because of a specific car. It's completely two different reasons why.
For me, it's the normality. Like it's just you, nobody who's like just a positive, normal bloke who's fixing his car with his friends and family.
Yeah. And I guess that, that's...
And it's relatable.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah. I think that's the thing as well that I struggle with. I know a lot of people will say, oh, we want it to be relatable. So choose relatable cars to do up. But I've just found the best way for me is just to choose cars to repair that I get excited about. I think that's what actually does it. Not the fact whether it's the cars. I could be working on a Lamborghini or a Nissan Micra, and I think people will enjoy it either way because it's what I'm excited about. That's why it's really, you'll see what car we've picked next. And there's a reason why we picked it is because I got more excited about that than something that I think would probably do better for the channel. It's just, I think you've just got to go with gut instinct, and that's what people will watch because they sort of bounce off your enthusiasm about that.
And when you pick a car, are you conscious of the damage, or do you think more of the car?
At the start, you're thinking more with your mind of like, okay, I'm going to be able to sell this and I'm going to be able to make profit off this, that sort of stuff. Now it's become more of a YouTube world. I'm thinking more of like, what's a better story? What looks bad and like will get people's attention and that side of things. But then what's also going to give me a challenge for myself. So if I'm a perfect example, rebuilt a Golf R, which was completely smashed. It was the worst car I built to the date at that time. And then I just recently, a few months ago or so, bought my friend Audi S3, which was crash damaged. And that looked really bad, but because I'd already done the Golf, it took a bit of buzz out of it for me. It was, I was rebuilding it for him, which gave me a different aspect to it, but it took a little bit out of the buzz because I knew where everything went. I was confident about rebuilding it.
That's crazy though, because it should be the opposite.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you should feel confident in not what you're buying, but now I feel more excited.
Out of that comfort zone.
When I bought this Porsche that we're recently doing up, every panel is damaged. There's not one good panel on the car, and now I'm like, oh, I'm excited to do this. I really want to chop apart a panel and get to it. But the worst thing is what comes after that. Like I see cars now and I think, oh, that's a brilliant car. I love that car, but it's not damaged enough for me. I'm not get excited enough to get into it. So there's those two different aspects of it. But yeah, definitely now I think more about what's more entertaining than what's going to be easy to repair.
I want you to teach me to rap.
Oh God!
I really want to rap something. When I watched you do, when you did the Aston Martin in the satin red.
Yeah.
When I watched that, I was like, yeah, I'd love to be able to.
It's
rap.
One of them things you've got to pick it up as you go along. There's not like I tell you how to do this, that, and the other. You've got to teach yourself. It is I helped Chris to rap his Aston Martin, and he wanted to learn as well. And it's like I can't teach somebody how to rap. You've literally got to pick it up and get it going yourself. But yeah, I love to watch you try. I can imagine it never goes as how you expect it. It looks so easy on YouTube, but when it comes to doing it in real life, oh my God.
When we did that, you've seen the smart car outside, we've just done that. And I was going to wrap it. And then in the end, I went to Halfords and got 2 cans of black spray and just sprayed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just sprayed straight over the top.
I did that to my first Fiesta. I got a load of matte black cans and started rattle canning the car. Matte black. Yeah.
And it looks all right at the minute.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll get a bit of scratch, you can spray over it.
So what was your first car?
It was a Fiesta 1.1 litre. I think it was a Mark III Fiesta, 1993. And yeah, it wasn't long until I blew that up. It was all my friends had like faster cars, like 1.2 Clios, and like one of my mates had a Suzuki Swift 1 litre, which was just faster than everyone else's. And mine was the slowest car. So to keep up with any of them, I was just revving the hell out of it. And it weren't long before it was going rattling like that. And my dad's a mechanic. So he's sort of one of these people that you don't replace things, you fix them. So when the engine blew, I'm like, can we just get a new car? And he's like, no, I'm going to Tipex all the bolts that you need to undo. You get on the driveway.
Made you do it yourself?
Yeah. And then that was it. I was unbolting. I didn't know how it worked or whatever, but it was Tipex all the bolts that I needed to undo. And that's it. I was undoing all them bolts. And then it was engine out, got a new engine, put that engine in. It weren't long till that one went as well. But that's the sort of learning curve. I think it all sort of springs from my dad. It was, everything can be fixed, but you don't just replace things. And I think that's where it's came from. Really.
Yeah, exactly. So did your dad helps you? Is anyone else?
Now my dad helps me a fair bit. He'll come here and there, but again, he's more of like, I'd say more of an old school guy. When it comes to like the newer cars, not too, he's going to hate me for saying, but I don't think he knows too much about the newer cars.
He probably won't watch our channel.
But there's one go-to guy, Dave, who's on near my unit. Everybody needs a Dave. It seems to be like a universal thing, because if anything breaks, we go to Dave. Dave's got a business called DTB Motorsport, and he does all the nobles, but he seems to know everything. There's not one thing he doesn't know. And he's one of these guys that will help you without any reason. One of the lads left the car, they had a puncture on one of the vans or something like that. They drove it round to Dave's unit. It wasn't in. And they were going to say to him, oh, could you fix the puncture on the van for us, please? Like, that's what they were going to do, but it wasn't in. Next morning, they go round and they go and say to him, can you go fix the puncture? It's already been fixed. And we said, oh, have you fixed the puncture on that? He goes, yeah, I seen it outside. I had a flat tire and he'd fixed it. He didn't know whose it was. He just fixed it. That's the type of guy he is. So like, he is the go-to guy. If anything goes wrong, I know in the back of my mind, Dave's there if anything breaks.
And have we seen Dave on the channel yet?
No.
Oh, you're a fraud.
Yeah. Dave's not been on the channel yet, but how many things has he helped me out? At the minute, it's not really helped me out with too many mechanical things, but he has helped me out with a lot of contacts. So with the Aston Martin, it was like, oh, Dave, I've just bought an Aston Martin. How the hell am I going to get structural parts? Because Aston Martin won't sell me directly. I know a guy. And next thing, right, I've got a bloke who's got a full front end for an Aston Martin. I can get you it cheap if you want it. So that gets sorted out. And then what was it after that? There was borrowing tools. He's always got whatever tools I need. Yeah. The Porsche. This is it. I got that Porsche. It's absolutely in pieces and the engine's rattling and everything like that. Oh, that don't sound right. And I said to Dave, I was like, do you think this engine sounds right? Hang on a minute. Got a guy who builds all the Porsche race cars in my unit. Comes across, he comes over. Yeah, that's how they're meant to sound. There's a high pressure fuel pump there. That's quite noisy. You probably need to change that. This is where you get the parts from. And the next thing, I've got a full diagram of how they put the cars together from Porsche, from Dave. So Dave is the man. Dave is the man. I know now I have ultimate confidence that I can mess anything up, and your tag team is Dave because he'll come in. There was a part in the Lamborghini when he actually did help me out with that one, didn't he? Dave helped me out with this one. Just twin turboed the Lamborghini and was meant to be going somewhere or doing something the next day, and it had an oil leak, and I was underneath it at about 11 o'clock at night in my unit, and Dave just so happens to walk past with his dog. And
so the man can't even get away from
no,
it.
I think he likes it. I think he's one of these guys that like itches to help. Like he's late for barbecues and everything because of me. And at 11 o'clock, he's just gone out to walk the dog. Next thing, he's under the Lamborghini getting grubby with me, trying to make this O-ring fit so it doesn't leak oil. And he must have got home at about 1:45 at night. His missus probably thinks he's, I don't know where he's gone walking the dog. But yeah, and that was
walking the
that's
dog.
it. Yeah, when you try and pay him, he doesn't want paying. Honestly, he's the biggest legend out there, but yeah, he's the hidden guy behind the scenes of my channel that if anything goes wrong, Dave's the key to it.
And what about Chris? Let's talk about Chris.
Chris have been noticed. You may notice Chris in mainly quite a lot of the episodes in my videos now. So we've been on road trips with Chris, and Chris started his channel up. He's your number one fan.
That's why I mentioned him for that only reason.
So he's your number one fan, and he's ever said if I ever do anything with Mark McCann, he's invited instantly. So we have to bring him along. At least he's with us for there. But yeah, Chris has started his channel up. He's started doing like crash damage stuff as well. He did an Aston Martin, and then again, it also helps when you surround yourself with like people that are doing this similar sort of thing. It's not like you're talking nuts to somebody else. When you're saying to someone, oh, my videos ain't not doing well, and then when I say, oh, perhaps it's because your thumbnail's no good, or perhaps you've done this different, then you're on the same wavelength with someone, rather than you're talking to a bloke down the pub who working a 9 till 5 and you're like, oh, my video's on a 10 out of 10, and they're like, what? Like, yeah, are you sure? Are you all right there? Like, you can't, when you're talking to similar people about the same things, it does help a lot, helps ideas as well, and it bounces off each other. So it is good to have these type of people around you.
Chris, does Dave help you?
Dave was in one of my videos.
Yeah,
Dave's actually featured in Chris's. That's about right, isn't it?
Now,
So you've given him the recognition poor Dave needs.
yeah. See, this is but little does he know that I tipped Dave off a bit for this Chris's video, because Dave was looking over Chris's car, and he was meant to check everything. And I specifically asked Dave, please do not check the lights on his car, because before that, I played a little prank on Chris where I'd wired his indicator into his horn. so I was hoping by the time we go on the road trip, when he indicates, the horn's going every time he indicates. It's brilliant. It works fantastic. But he had a horn wired into his indicator, and then he went to Dave to check it over. Dave 100% would have found that out. But I had to tell Dave, do not check the lights. So luckily Dave didn't check the lights because we tipped him off. But Chris didn't even realise for about... Chris didn't realise for about 2 weeks it wasn't even him that found it out, because Chris barely uses his indicators. He drives his music like at full volume. And it was his dad. When his dad drove the Aston, he figured out the horn was going off when he was indicating. And then when Chris says, can you listen to this? I sat in his car after I'd done it, and he pulled down his indicator, and it's going like that. I couldn't keep a straight
like
face.
his mum's bed.
Yeah, literally. I was laughing too much. I couldn't keep it in. No, it's all good fun.
And can we talk about the recent one, the road trip?
Yeah, so we've just done the road trip. Again, at the end of every time I rebuild a car, we like to do either a road trip or something special with them, just so I think it gives you a reason for rebuilding it. I think the difference between me and a lot of other people that rebuild cars on YouTube is that they rebuild them for a business. So they're rebuilding them and then selling them on for a profit, whereas I'm more rebuilding them throughout the love of doing it and building them how I want to do it, hence all the modifications.
Yeah, which obviously can be not cost effective, but
that's
what you want.
That's it. So it's nice to have that excitement of when I rebuild it, I'm going to get to do this with it. So a recent trip we've just done with the Aston Martin was we drove it to over 2,500 miles down through France, the west coast of France, through Monaco, and then through to Italy, and then from Italy to Stelvio Pass, which is at the north side of Italy, and then through Switzerland and that way back up. So a hell of a lot of miles. But for YouTube, again, if something goes wrong, it's better for content. We've had that with the Lamborghini when we tried to
Does
take
it work
that.
like that, George? We set a bike on fire today, didn't we?
Oh my God.
Jordan's best day Jordan's had all week.
Wow.
Caught on camera as well.
Was that by accident? Was on. This is the thing. Me and Hannah tried a road trip, which was meant to be a holiday in the Lamborghini. And we got that on a ferry from Portsmouth to Bilbao in Spain instead of driving all the way to Spain. And then the plan was to drive from Bilbao to Barcelona in the newly twin turbo Lamborghini, which had done 2,000 miles beforehand with no issues at all. We got it on the ferry, got it to Bilbao, and as soon as we turned that key and drove off the ferry into Spain, we started getting some weird issues with the car that it kept cutting out and just, it weren't running right. The rev counter was going up and down, and we made it about half an hour out of Bilbao until it was cutting out and was stuck at the side of the road. Made for brilliant content, and it did really good performing videos, but we had the worst time ever because we sat at the side of the road. It was boiling hot. We didn't know what to do with the car. We ended up getting it towed off the road by some Spanish bloke who barely spoke any English. Ended up leaving it in a garage, and then was in the mindset of like, right, what do we do? Do we spend a week trying to fix it here in Spain in this garage, or do we carry on with the rest of a holiday and come back to it? And in the end, we chose to get a hire car, carry on with the rest of the holiday. But we couldn't enjoy the holiday because in your mind you're thinking the Lamborghini's just stranded in the middle of this garage in Spain in the middle of nowhere. They've got the key as well, and you're just worried about what's going to happen to it. But it made really good content. It was just a terrible time. But this road trip was a bit different. This one, a lot of things went to plan, but we did take Boris, the Nissan Micra, which made it a little bit more interesting.
With Jack the Legend.
That's it. That was it. Oh, it was brilliant, that was. But yeah, it's always nice to do something like that with the cars, and then it gives you more of an attachment to them as well. It makes you not want to get rid of them, which is becomes more of the harder thing when you have to.
But so obviously you're acquiring all these cars. Where do you keep them all? Because there's...
Oh my God, they're dotted around so we have some in the unit, we take some home. They're dotted around everywhere. Some are in body shops still being painted. They are all over the place. And this is the thing. I don't like with the competitions for the cars. I like it to be a special thing when we raffle off a car. So I don't want to be doing it every single month. If we're going to do a competition, I want it to be a special one-off thing that happens. So in my mind, I don't want to just raffle off the car all the time, but at the same time, I don't want to sell them because there's just an anticlimax for the channel. People have just watched this whole build done, and then at the end, you've just sold it to somebody who no one knows about. There's no attachment to it. It just doesn't make a good story. And a lot of the cars, the Aston Martin, I really want to keep. So you end up like keeping them. You get this attachment to them. And then if I can afford to go and buy another car, I will, and I'll just have that car there. And people are like, why have you not got rid of the Maserati or something like that? I'm like, how could I get rid of that?
You've got a lot of invested love in that.
Oh yeah, that's it. There's a lot of cars I've got which make no sense to keep, but I've kept them for a reason that I've made up in my head. But it becomes, I think it's going to end up getting stupid, isn't it? Like Hannah said, I've got a maximum 10 car limit.
Oh, you've got a limit?
Yeah. I've hit the limit. Oh. I'm on the 10 car limit at the minute, but I don't know which one I'd choose to get rid of.
I used to have a one in, one out, so I wasn't allowed to buy another one until one was sold.
Maybe that's probably going to how it's been. I'm at my limit now. We've just bought a house. Well, we're fingers crossed it goes through and everything. We've just got a bigger driveway, which may increase my limit. Probably not.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, we've had to expand into another unit.
Brilliant.
So we've had our unit, which was a massive milestone. Anyway, we rented half of that unit to start with, and then 6 months down the line, we realised we needed more space and rented the other half of it. So that was just a milestone anyway. That's like been my dream since whenever, just having your own unit to do work on cars, because you just get so that you're working on in the rain. Everyone will know who works on the cars. You're just in the rain on your driveway. It's horrible. Your tools get wet, you get wet. Whereas like having a unit is like a dream thing when you're like growing up with cars. And like to get that, it's like, I forget how how good that actually is until people come to my unit and go, this is amazing.
Especially a ramp.
Oh yeah, unit, ramp, dry, like the floor's nice. It's just nice in there, and you got your music, it's dry. We're there till late at night, all his lads there just messing around, whether it's working on our own cars or
Dave's there
cars.
later than everyone else.
Yeah,
obviously.
Dave's there late. And then it got to the point now where we're doing really old cars. We've got the BMW E24, 1989 BMW, and that's a car that can't just be in a ramp, come do some work on it, get down off the ramp, and then I could get another one in for another video. We needed a ramp where I can keep the car in there and take everything off and leave it there for a while whilst things are getting powder coated or rust is getting done. So I can't do that build without having another ramp, which is why we expanded out into another unit, which we've rented off Malibu Performance. So yeah, that's another side of things now.
So how many projects, how many videos, how many cars are being worked on at the same time?
There's only one being worked on at the same. It's only me doing the work. That's the thing. A lot of people. So
you're not going from one car to the next car a different day?
I do. That's what I like about it. Having so many cars is that I can switch between the cars.
When you're waiting for parts, waiting for paint shop.
And also you get sick of it. You get
the same one.
I'll be working on the Porsche all day and I really want it done, but there'll be a point where you're like, oh my God, I hate it now. And like, it's so nice to have a refreshment and change onto another car where you're doing something completely different. So I could be rebuilding the Porsche and you're chopping panels off. It's really dirty work. And then all of a sudden I get an exhaust for the Aston Martin and I'm excited to do that because it's a more of an easier job and it's a modification. So then I start doing that on the Aston and then it breaks it up from the Porsche. And after you finish the Aston, I'm like, okay, I'll go back on the Porsche now. So it breaks it up nicely rather than just being stuck on one project. And then also it gives a mixture of content on the channel. And then it also gives you time to order parts whilst you're working on other stuff. So it works perfectly.
And I suppose with your filming the way you do as well, because you're voiceovering afterwards, I suppose you can fill the story of the gaps afterwards as long as you've got the continuation of the build. Yeah,
that's the thing. The voiceovering is a lifesaver because sometimes as well, you'll find it, you don't feel like filming or talking in front of a camera. You wake up and you think, I'm too tired to talk in front of the camera today. I always want to work on the cars all the time, but the hardest thing is being able to want to work on the cars and film them and
because it slows it down, I suppose. As well.
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of times I just go to the unit and I'll just crack on with whatever work I need doing. Like you probably see it, I'll be looking rough as out, like probably like 1 a.m. doing work, but I really want to do the work, but I don't want to talk to the camera. So the voiceover is a lifesaver because I can just be voiceovering. Right, at this point, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It breaks up a bit where I'm not really like wanting to talk to the camera about and explain what's going on. So it breaks up a lot of bits where, I'm not in the mood to be on camera.
Yeah. What's the fastest you've ever been in a car?
And you know what? I haven't actually been that fast. The fastest we've probably actually ever gone was on this trip. And we were on a no speed limit road, 100%.
Hang on a sec, is there even such a thing? The direction you went in?
We just took a detour
in kilometers you can do it.
Yeah, that was it. And I think we did 170 mile an hour.
Kilometers?
Kilometers. It was was it 167? Yeah, so 3 shy of 170. On the Autobahn in Germany, which we took a detour to.
And where was Jack at this stage?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Jack was a little bit further back, but that was the fastest we've gone. And I remember at that point feeling the downforce of the car. You can feel the downforce and what everything's working on the car. Like when I went to Aston Martin and I said, I want to buy a rear wing for it. And they're like, you can't buy the rear wing without the front splitter and the side skirts because it affects the downforce. For what a load of rubbish. Just let me buy the rear wing. But then at that speed, you can see why things are, if you turn the steering wheel like that, you're gone. But you start to feel the G-force on the car then. But I've never really had it. A space long enough to do any. Yeah. We went to the Nürburgring in the E46 M3. I think that topped out with the speedo said 140, I think, but it was probably more like a 120 or 130. But that car's not very quick. You drive it more as fast as you dare go rather than the fast as the car goes. But I've not really. I'd like to top out the Lamborghini Gallardo. I think the twin turbo. I'd like to top out that, but again, I've got that sort of fear if something's going to break, and if something's breaking, I've got to fix it. So there's that.
And have you? What's the biggest crash you've caused?
Oh, the biggest crash. Touch wood right now. I've not really been in any crash like as so, on a road. Yes, I've been on a road. I've been in a crash which wasn't my fault. Somebody pulled out in front of me and I've whacked them. That was in my Audi A4. Just a young girl. She's just pulled out in the middle of me, just smashed into her. I've crashed plenty of times on the track, but. And again, I don't get that. When you go to a track day, they moan at you for crashing, but I think you should be able to drive the car to its full limit.
The drive back of shame on the back of the truck.
Oh yeah. How many? I mean, it was only recently we went to Donington. I was in the GT86, and you think, right, how are you going to know the limit of the car unless you push it to the limit? And I pushed it to the limit on one corner, locked up, went in the gravel, was having a laugh. Next thing, like, don't be stupid next time. Like, how? I know the limit of the car now, so I know how to push it, but how, if you're not allowed to drive how you want on a track day, when are you allowed to drive? I think I was completely wrong, but yeah, I spun out in the Maserati on a track day. I'll drive. I'll just go full pelt on track days. It is what it is. But yeah, touch wood on the road. I'm quite sensible.
And that's at Donington you go most of the time?
Yeah, so you would think Mallory Park.
Yeah, because Mallory's still doing it now, aren't they?
The thing is, you can do the track days at Mallory, but they're really funny. You can't tyre squeal around the corners. There's loads of noise regulations because the residents are around there. So really, I've done one track day at Mallory and that's it. We're about to do my race license, which I'm going to be doing this month. So then we thought what would be really fun to do is what I've always seen. I don't know how well it would do for content, but it might work well. There's a Citroen C1 24-hour race.
Yeah, we got invited to that this year.
Oh, it looks so fun. And I'd love to do it, but the guy was like, yeah, you need a race license, this, that, and the other. But so I wanted to do that. It would come in handy anyway, but I'd love to get a C1, make it ready for the track, then do a 24-hour race in it with a team. I think it would make great content.
Because they do like a 3 and 4 hour race as well.
Oh, they do shorter ones,
We were going to do the 24-hour one, but it came on one of our race meeting, like our race weekend, so we weren't able to do it.
It's Silverstone, isn't it? Well, the last one where we went, it was at Silverstone. There was a 24-hour one there.
Yeah.
Again, Dave, coming back to Dave.
Dave again.
He's done a 24-hour race with the C1, but he was a mechanic there. He changed an engine in 40 minutes in one of them C1s and got it back on the road.
Because they have to change the brakes and all sorts.
Oh, yeah. And you have to have we got sent the list of the things that you need to do and what you can and you can't do. So you have to have stock ECU. You have to have working like radio and fans and everything in the car, so you can't strip all that out. And you have to have a certain cut and join on the exhaust on the car, and that's so if you need to change an engine mid-race, you can. It's so you can pull the engine out and stuff like that. And there's things like you need roll cage in there and this, that, and the other. It looks so fun to be able to build one and then do that.
Because the Sidemen did it.
Yeah, they did did they do a C1?
Yeah, 24-hour C race.
I thought they did I see them do a go-kart one, but I missed the C1.
Well, I say they did. The one which we got invited to, they were allegedly doing it, so maybe they didn't do it.
Oh, really?
But that was sort of like when the guy tried to get us, he said like, KSI and the Sidemen are all going to do the same race.
Such good content.
But,
I think for that, you'd have to have like cameramen there. Like it would be that point where like, I don't want to hold up a camera, and they're the points where you need a camera in your face when you're feeling like the lowest of the. I
was going to say, because have you ever used a camera? I know you did on Drive Tribe, didn't you?
Yeah, so I don't normally have a cameraman. Everything's normally filmed by myself. I think that's solely because of the reason that, going back to the relatability thing, is when I'm holding a camera up by myself, I see as if this person who's watching me is there with me. Yep. Whereas when somebody's holding a camera pointing at you, it feels like you're more of a presenter, like TV. It just puts a bit more of a barrier between you and the audience, I think anyway. And then when I'm working on the car, I'll have the camera at the angle that I'm working at so people can see my point of view. Sometimes you have to change it up to make it look better or whatever, but I feel like holding the camera just gives a way better, it's like how can you explain it? It feels like the person is there with you rather than So, and when someone was holding the cameras for me last time, when we went to the Richard Hammond thing and we had the E46 sort of assessed by them, it felt strange. I didn't know what to do because I didn't have a camera in my hand, and you're more presenting it, and I felt more pressure to say the right things. So I didn't want to do a retake, and it felt a bit, it was weird doing that. But at the same time, I would have felt so strange walking up with a camera in my hand, talking to someone with the camera. It feels weird. You're holding the camera to you, then going back to me. It feels weird, and it also looks weird outside. But yeah, I like to keep the...
it's not all it's cracked up to be to have a cameraman.
That's it. It's good sometimes. I'm just sacking Jordan off now. It's good. Like for the road trips, we've always said it would be brilliant to have a cameraman for the road trips, because we end up missing some of the best parts of the road trip because something happens, then you grab the camera to film. Whereas if you've got a cameraman, you've got everything there. You don't miss anything. And then also you're less, I've got more used to it now, but things happen with Jack when he was there and he didn't film. So when he ran out of fuel on the trip, he didn't film it because he's stressed. The last thing he's thinking about is picking up a camera.
Exactly. Do you know, today we had a bike set, we had a fire, and we've had, and all I hear is ting, and I think that twat, rather than like nobody's gone for a fire extinguisher, all he's gone is flipping whoosh.
Yeah, that's it. That's become my instinct now. So anything happens, I go grab the camera straight away. But
you two are match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's it. It becomes a natural instinct. As soon as the Maserati we got crashed into on Christmas Eve in the Maserati in a garage, and someone crashed into me straight away. My mate was sitting next to me, Liam, and I said, Liam, grab the camera. Like, so that it's become an instinct now. The first thing to do is grab the camera, where before we'd miss it all and then they'd end up voiceover and saying, at this point, this happened. It doesn't have the same effect, but you need to have that camera and people need to see the points where you're in the most stressful moments, because they're the bits that you want to see. But yeah,
we've got some footage which probably will never see the light of day. And if it does, we've always said that if that footage ever gets out, it's because we've like made it and we'd no longer care what people think.
I can imagine.
And we've even said that on it. If you're watching this, it's because morals have gone out the window and no longer care.
I think that's the scary thing about YouTube though, isn't it? Because there's you can upload whatever. It's not filtered
Jordan
by anyone.
Was desperate to put it up.
Really?
Like, no,
I want to see it
not
now.
a chance. We're putting that up.
That's the thing. It's not filtered by anyone. That's the scariest thing. You can have as many followers as you want and much power as you want, and you could say anything and put it out there. Whereas everything on TV is filtered by so many different people before it finally gets broadcasted. That's the scary thing. Like I could film a video and not realize I'm being offensive to someone and upload it, and then everyone's taking offense. And that's the scariest part about it.
And that's where like the relationship me and Jordan have, that's when it's like another really important thing is when we're doing stuff, they'll go, no, we won't do it that way. And it's not only just an aid and two brains work better. Well, one brain and 1.5 brain work better than one. But it's also sort of like he'll say stuff like, "No, we won't do that because that." And I think, "Fuck, I never thought of that."
Yeah. That's the good thing about having somebody else on side as well. Yeah, that's
a fresh pair of eyes.
100%. Yeah, to see it. Sometimes it is better to have someone else's like opinion on stuff as well, and I think it also helps you. Inspiration, sometimes you can think of an idea and that person will bounce off it as well, and you think, we'll do that, we'll add to it, and then one thing becomes another and you make something amazing from it. But we've had I always get excited when we talk about something, how are we going to do that, and then Jordan goes and then he'll go, I've got it. That's it. And then it comes out, and to be fair to him, never as when somebody says that and then they say it and you think, really? All that excitement for that. It's me most of the time.
We did that when we did that car vertical one the other week, and he had the gun.
Yeah.
Like when he came with that, I was like,
no, that was quality. That was quality.
That's a great idea. So yeah, it's definitely good to like to have Jordan around sometimes.
That's the thing. We were listening when we was on this road trip. We were listening to loads of podcasts. We were listening to Mr. Beast a lot and that sort of stuff. And in one of his podcasts, he was saying like they have just like meetings where it's just about ideas and everything like that. And they'll sit at a table and they'll say, right, idea for a video. And then someone will come up with something. They'll bounce off somebody else. And then before you know it, they've made like this viral video straight away. So they've got a huge team of people all on the same wavelength and all knowing exactly what you want to do. And when you can have that, then you're unstoppable. Then that it's having that team. Everyone's on the same wavelength and everyone's got the same motivation. Where it's hard to get that. It is really difficult to get that because so many people are on different levels and different like times in their life and stuff. But yeah, to have that would be amazing. So
we've got a group chat called YouTube ideas, haven't we, Jordan? It's like the most least used WhatsApp group. It just never has anything in it. The YouTube ideas, it's like stagnant.
That's the thing. I think it's so difficult what you do because
my mates will come up with some stuff and they'll go, oh, let's do this and this. And then like my friend Sean, he's brilliant. He always go, let's do a road trip to Spain. And I'm like, okay. Right, okay, yeah. And he's like, well, we can, and I was like, we can't just drive from here to Spain.
That's the thing.
Like, nobody's going to want to watch it. And he was like, well, we can do some stuff. I was like, well, we might as well do that from here to Cirencester.
Yeah.
If that's all we're doing, like, we can't just drive to Spain and think magically stuff's going to happen.
That's it.
You've got to have a plan.
That's it.
But yeah, like, obviously occasionally things go wrong and it turns out to be fantastic. But, you know, Jordan doesn't like pressing that record button very often. so like, there's like, he doesn't really do the whole, let's film everything and hope something happens.
Yeah. I think we get the similar sort of thing. We get a lot of people come up with these ideas and they think it would work in the head, but they don't really know it from the YouTube side of things. They think, oh, this would be a brilliant idea if you did this. And you're like, yeah, but it won't work in the YouTube world.
It needs a story
it needs a story. Yeah, it needs a story. That everything needs a story, and you need to make every video as if the people who are watching haven't watched your last video because you need to explain it down to the point where, it's a new video every time and no one's watched the previous episode. And that's the hardest thing about it. You can have like an amazing idea, but if you don't portray the story well, then no one will get it and it won't do as well as you think because of that.
People are messaging me and say, oh, I've got this, let's do a collab. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make a collab. It's just a possession.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can come up with a reason why that can work, love to.
That's it.
But you can't just come here and bring a possession and think that it's going to be slightest usable.
We said the same thing. We was like, oh, I'd love to do a collaboration with these people or that people. But it was like, I wouldn't want to do it if there's no reason. If there's no reason. That's why we haven't done many collaborations or anything like that with many people because we've had no reason for it to fit into the story of what we're doing. Unless someone's like, okay, we're doing up a Porsche and then next thing we've got this YouTuber who's a Porsche specialist, it would work fantastic. Like it'll come in and do it. But when you've got someone who's a gamer YouTuber and you think, right, I want him to be in my videos because he gets a lot of views. How on earth am I going to get him in a video which is about rebuilding a Porsche?
That's why I was asking if you damaged them yourselves because I thought I could come and help you damage them.
There you go. That's it. It's all about a story. We've said everything, even with the E46 when we went to do when Drive Tribe contacted me about going to Hammond's place. And was like, oh, bring a car along and we'll do an assessment. I was like, oh my God, it worked perfect. Like it wasn't just going to be a random collaboration because of the sake of it. It worked perfectly. I just finished pretty much redoing everything on the E46 M3. It was the oldest car I own. They restore classics. The last thing it needed was paint. I was like, oh my God, it works perfect. And it's like it's not even forced that I'm doing it. And it worked so well. So that's the thing. Everything's got to have a story and a reason to it. And that's when people more connect to it. So yeah, you see so many YouTubers just putting anyone and everyone in the videos it's got to make sense.
And that Drive Tribe, like the Richard Hammond bit, how did, was it a message? Was it an Instagram message or an email?
Yeah, it was an Instagram. I think Mike messaged me before saying, just to let you know, I think it was James Mays to start with, just said, just let you know, James Mays had done like a reaction to one of your Maseratis and the video's going live tomorrow. I thought you'd let you know before. Yeah. And I was like, oh, brilliant, fantastic. And then watched it, called me a knob. I thought, that's great. That was brilliant. Then I could use that in my video as well. That was really good. And then next thing, I had another message saying like, oh, Hammond's done a reaction to one of your cars. I thought, oh, great. And then he said, oh, do you fancy coming down? And we just got talking from there. And then it was like a surreal thing, and it just worked. We always say everything happens for like a reason, and yeah, it all worked and fitted in perfectly. And again, it really helped my channel as well, because it was a lot of the viewers off there found my channel.
And did you see a lump?
Oh, a huge increase, a huge increase. And it wasn't just random people. I think some people do collaborations. They get a massive load of followers off it.
Yeah, and they don't watch
the video. So you can have like 4 million subscribers and 10,000 views.
Yeah.
But these people that were coming over genuinely loved the content. And it was like, they would have never have found it if it wasn't for that video that they filmed. I wasn't everyone's cup of tea on there, because a bit hyper for some of their audience.
Don't you find that like when somebody mentions us on something and somebody says like they're watching one of our videos on a story or something, they say, oh, like I'm watching this, and you have fresh pairs of eyes, and then you'll have boring.
Yeah,
that's not what they're used to.
Yeah,
and sometimes when a collaboration and it pushes people your way, not everyone's going to fit, are they?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's going to be that with a lot of things, and it's sometimes I've seen loads of content, even your own. It's like I'm like, why is this not getting millions of views? But those people that love that stuff haven't found it yet, and sometimes it does take that extra thing for it to find it.
We've talked about that so much. We feel that sometimes the stuff we put out is really good and good enough, but it's not got the eyes. And once those eyes did see it, there'd be enough, but just not enough people know. And how you tell that story. And we've talked recently, haven't we, Jord, about like, do you sort of advertise? And we talked to Matt Watson about it, and he just, all you've got to do is keep doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Keep trying, and one day something will happen, and YouTube will push it, or Google will push it.
It only takes one video,
and then all of a sudden things will change. He said, but like, as long as you're putting the best stuff you can and putting the maximum effort in, and like I'm not in a position like you were, where you were forced to do it. Unfortunately, I've got commitments which I can't get out of.
Yeah.
And so I can't give it the amount of effort which you had to.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is always a little bit frustrating, and so we're always a bit behind, because I suppose I've got other things which, like where you chose to not go to work, I can't not go to work. Because I've got a business which our family have worked hard for, and I can't possibly ever turn my back on that.
But if it got to the point where you're earning so much from YouTube, you can't ignore it, would it ever got to that point where you would have to think, okay, I'm jumping the gun?
There's literally, because of like past people who have passed, who are like now dead.
Yeah.
They've put all their investment in it that I couldn't. I'll never be in that position. I don't think ever, where I could I could do it with, me and George have talked about it, that like where you can sort of step back, and because we've got a great team at work, so they could do more and I could have more time off, but it's never, it could never get to the situation where I don't bother with what.
Is there anything, do you not think any of the audience would be interested in what you do at work or anything like that?
That's the first podcast.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
But number 1 is all about work, and and as you know, none of it's that exciting. but so I'm sure people will be highly disappointed when they go, is that it?
No, I think that it is if you put in the best content out, and it's a good video, people will find it regardless. It could be next week, next month, next year, people will find it. And if you're putting consistently similar sort of content out, it will all go at once. I found the same thing with my Audi S5. I got to about 10,000 subscribers. I was getting around 10,000 views each video. Got me Audi S5 in January. That one video just blew up for one reason or another. Don't know why. all of a sudden I had loads more subscribers coming in, and all my old videos were getting way more views because they watched that video, they liked it. I like this guy. They go watch about the other videos, and because all the videos were really similar, they enjoyed it, and it stays consistent. It's not like one video I'm doing something with cars, the next video.
That's where the consistency would work, wouldn't it? Because if they like one and they're watching all the others and it matches.
It goes, yeah, that's it. And what happens with YouTube, they watch one of your videos, they click on one of your videos, more than likely they're going to be recommended another one. And if they're recommended another one and they click on it and they don't like it, then they're not going to be recommended one after that. So the idea is just to keep someone clicking on every single one of your videos. And that's why I always think if you have a really good video, your next video is bound to be good as well, because so many people have watched that video and clicked on it. You've had a lot of views. Everyone's enjoyed it. You could upload the rubbish, absolute crap video, the next video, but it'll still get clicks because you've built trust up in that first video. But if that second video isn't as good and they're less likely to click on the one after that, that's when you suffer. So it's consistently keeping that momentum going.
We were talking to Ali Law recently. He was here, and I'll have to. What did Ali say, Jordan? That he got 1 million. Did he get 1 million subscribers or no? What was it?
He had a killer clown video that went viral.
So he had a killer clown video which went viral, and it got 1 million views. And he was like, "Oh my God, this is me done. Like, this is amazing." And his next video uploaded got 1,000 views.
Oh my God. And I bet it was something completely different to what it was it? Was it a completely different video?
The content was different.
But it was just like one thing popped. But then like he didn't have, so basically he just thought, that's me done. That's it. I've cracked YouTube. And then he said the disappointment was, and then he had all these subscribers, didn't he? But they just weren't watching. And like, look at him now. He's just like flipping, just unbelievable. But he was telling us the story where he thought he'd done it, and then he still hadn't done it.
Yeah, that's it. I think it is the consistency in creating the same style of videos, but some people do get trapped in making the same. I've seen some of my friends who, this chap I know, Ola, he made a viral video of water park BMXing. Even Ryan's made some of them like it. An abandoned water park and riding in BMX in it. That video went viral and it did really well. Then he did another video, which was just at a skate park, and it's done terrible. So then he was almost stuck doing these water park ones. He had to go to another water park one, did viral again. Then it was every time. And then if you look at his videos, it is all pretty much the similar thing, water park or a hill bomb or something with the same title, the same thumbnail. But then he's stuck creating something like that. I mean, it might be amazing if he enjoys it, but if that's what if he prefers being at a skate park riding and he's getting more views of doing something he doesn't like, then what's the reason you're doing it for? For me, it works perfectly, because if I have one good video where it blows up and does well and it's me rebuilding a car, great, I get to rebuild more cars. And my stuff's a series. So if the first video of me buying the car does well, more than likely the second one will, because I'm filming on the car again and I'm rebuilding it, and people just follow the story throughout. So I think that's a little bit of a hack in what I do. If you're trying to think of things to film each week, one video idea might do brilliantly, and then the next one might not. But you've got to bounce off what does well. That's the hardest thing about it.
Because today we went. First of all, we set a bike on fire accidentally, which was always a good start. Then we went. We had to have a go in the buggy for the next round, and then we went to the factory and did some, had to go in a drift car. So what a day, it's like a dream day.
Yeah.
And we've managed to film it and get some content out of it. And it's just been, apart from clearing up a fire extinguisher mess. But ever set a fire extinguisher off?
Yes.
It's bad.
Yeah.
This was
I think I did it as a joke in the unit. I think Chris.
Was it a powder?
Yeah, I think it was a powder. Yeah, it goes everywhere.
Oh my Jesus!
And we had a car which was full of it at one point. So yeah, it's we know. Well, Chris knows what it's like to clear one of them up.
Oh, if you're good at it, Chris. If you're not busy.
Yeah, it was. It makes a mess. But that's what I think with your videos. It could be. It's nice because you keep watching, because you don't know what's coming next, because it's so varied. 1 minute you're blowing up a bike, next minute you're starting up a Lamborghini, and next minute you're doing this, and you don't know what's coming next. So you've got that sort of consistency with it with every single video, which is what I enjoy. And I think that's why you should keep that format of like that. It's the same when you watch like some of like the Nelt Boys videos or Steve Will Do It videos. It's like 1 minute they're giving away money to someone, next minute they're doing something crazy. You cannot predict what's coming next, and that's why
the entertainment. Like I'm a big fan of Danny Duncan, particularly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the same thing. You sort of like, where there's some people's creation is so clever that they can go and have just like ordering his ice cream or like, no, it's not there.
And it'd be entertaining. I watched one of his videos the other day. He gave away a car to his friend. Next clip, they're shooting guns somewhere. Clip after that, they're just dismantling this place, which is going to make
into his office.
There was about a 10-minute long clip of them knocking down this like wall or something where it was, but it was just funny. And then they put the helmet on and they're ramming him into the
that's
wall.
What Jordan hasn't seen yet.
But it's like 10 minutes long, but it's literally the most simplest thing ever, but it was quality.
When they got Q-An, you're like, this isn't big enough, then they swapped to like Danny. Just that cut.
That's it.
That cut of like Q-An, and it's not... it's just
sometimes that's
genius.
What makes the humour as well, the editing.
Yeah.
Doing the cuts at the right point and knowing what to put in and what not to put in, it makes it funny.
When the bike set on fire today, we already know the cut, don't we? And like straight away when it happened, I was like, oh my God. And he was like, no, this is good. And and then like Jordan tells me, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But like still not ideal.
I think it works. That's what works the best with YouTube. It's real. We was just talking earlier about, I don't know if you watched the Grand Tour, the latest one they've just put out, the Scandinavian flick where they're driving in the Arctic Circle. We noticed they've changed something to what they usually do. So a lot of the Grand Tour and Top Gear especially is, you can tell it's very scripted and very set up what happens, and things that go wrong are normally there to go wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas we noticed that they've used a lot of things which they wouldn't have put in before. So in the intro, from the start, they're talking, and I think May or Hammonds are kicking around a football at the back, and then it hits one of them by accident. You could tell it was just completely like not meant to be. And then they just carried on and went with it. They're fluffing up the lines, but they carry on. And then it starts absolutely hammering it down. And then they're getting in the cars. And it was like, oh, this feels like real. So much better to watch because it felt way more real and less set up. And although they have to set up a lot of it to make it entertaining, some of the stuff, even James May crashed his car. He drove through a tunnel, and it was the fastest you can get the car through this tunnel and then brake, because there was literally just a brick wall at the end. And May's going down there, does about 70 mile an hour, doesn't brake in time, and absolutely smashes into this wall and is in hospital. And then it gives you that realization, oh my God, it is real. Like what they're doing, rather than before it's so scripted. And then it gives you that more of a barrier between what's real and what's production. But
we've tried to force stuff before, haven't we?
Doesn't work.
It never does. It just, you look like, watch it back and you're like, that's just no.
It doesn't work. We've had people message us saying like, do you know the stuff that goes wrong on the cars? Do you deliberately make it go wrong? I was like, I wish I did, because if I did, then I'd know what to fix it. But it doesn't. Some of this stuff just happens, and that's what makes good content.
And what about as well, when something happens, you miss it and you think, should we redo it?
Oh my God. And it's never that. Yeah. The moment's gone. That's it.
And you're like, fuck, if only like that happened truthfully, can we not just record it again? It's like, nope.
Yeah, that's it. It's
the caravan.
What happened with the caravan?
We decided that, we decided that Alex was going to drive through the side of the caravan. So and we've seen
was the GoPro not on in the caravan or something? I think I watched the video.
And so the card corrupted, and it would have been just legendary. So we said we're going to have to do it again, put the card in, and it just was never going to be the same, because what happened that first time, and like I honestly thought when I stopped, I thought, I just hope, I'm not sure he's okay, because it was that bad, because I jumped this caravan, and I thought, this might be
I
what, or
remember watching the
he
video.
might be dead. And then I opened the caravan and he was just like, oh my fucking.
He got wedged, didn't he? He was like
just
stuck.
Smashed to pieces, his car wasn't inside. And I'm like, this is going to be brilliant. The car corrupted. So we tried to sort of like get somebody else to do it. And it was gone forever. But like,
the moment's gone. You can't recapture that. Yeah, that bit.
It was just gone. And it's a shame.
I said to Alex, anything you can do now is drive through it.
Yeah, so we said to Alex, like, all you got to do is drive through it. So we thought to ourselves, like, we've seen it done on Top Gear, etc., like that. So we thought, all you do is hit the side of the caravan, job done. And in my head, it was going to be like the car cut out in the side of the caravan, going in the one side and straight out the other. In my head, I thought, easy as that. So I sort of just smash into it, it'd be fine. He's hit it. And because obviously there's weaker and stronger parts, all it's done is like rotated the caravan and the car's hit it. It's gone off at the angle. So part of the caravan's come straight through the windscreen next to his head.
Oh my God.
And then he's like crashed into this bank because like, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I'm stood there thinking, shit. And I've got the camera and I see, we all start running towards the car. And I'm thinking, this is not good. Because I saw everything which had happened where it didn't go how my head was going to go. And then I get there and I open the door and I see Jordan and I know what Jordan's like. And I thought, if the camera goes on the floor, I know that we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And then I could see Jordan carrying on filming and going like that. And I thought, thank God. And I just thought, if he stops recording, shit's gone down.
Yeah.
Because he is ruthless.
Oh my God.
And I think even if there's a dead body in there, he probably would film for a second.
Yeah.
but
That's what there was like on that Grand Tour when we watched. Hey, they smashed into the wall, but the cameraman is still going, and like cops and like, oh, it's bad. The ambulance are there, everybody, and the cameraman is still. But I guess it's their job, isn't it? Like, at what point do you stop filming? But it's.
We'll quickly show the reaction on this because I think it'll make people watch. Let me just. So this is
this.
So this is a similar sort of thing which I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
So we're playing Skittles with cars. So
Okay.
We've got 10 barrels, and we're not allowed to see where we're going. The ring was off, and we just got reverse into the cars, into the thing. So this was the other similar to what you said. How you can't.
Oh. Oh my God.
It's just about to get a lot worse.
Oh my. Why is all that coming out as a coolant? Wow. I did see that screenshot on Instagram thinking, what on earth is that? How is that
But it was
car?
backwards.
Oh
That's
my
the thing.
God,
That's
that's ridiculous.
That's this week's with your
brilliant.
your bit on. So if you
Oh,
haven't
wicked.
seen that, but that was a classic example of Jordan not. You did you put the camera down or go to put the camera down?
I just put the camera down because remember I fell out of the car and rolled my ankle. So then I filmed and then I thought he was trapped. So I tried to put the camera down to film it and run to him. But by this point, he was like, no, Jordan, fine.
I like literally hit the floor and I was like, everything works. Bonus.
Yeah, there's always that point of like, can I move? Yeah.
I was like checking each limb individually. I was like, we're good to go.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that in the BMX days. You come off and I remember whacking my back so hard, and then the first thing I do, wiggle my toes and my hands.
Yeah,
I'm like, I work, I'm okay. Like,
Have you ever had a really, really bad one?
They've all been pretty bad, to be fair. Like, knocking myself out, broken bones, ankles, shoulders, that sort of stuff.
You've done enough.
I remember one which didn't look bad, but it was bad. I just whacked the back of my head straight on the floor, and I was only knocked out for a couple of seconds, even though I watched on the video. I'd like tensed up like you do, and then I've gone back like that, and then I've woke up. But then when I woke up, it felt like I'd been in a dream for so long. It felt like I was been asleep, and I was like, when I woke up, I was at Corby Skate Park, and I was like, oh, I was just dreaming about this place. That's weird that I've woke up here. And then and my mate's going, oh, just knock yourself out. I was like, oh, can you call Hannah and get her to pick me up? Because I don't feel good. And like, Hannah's on holiday. I was like, is she? She goes, yeah, she went on holiday like 10 days ago. I was like, since when? And then my mate looked at me like, oh God, we need to get you to hospital. And then it's like I've forgot everything in the past couple of weeks. Like nothing made sense in the past couple of weeks.
How can that be knocked out of you like that?
It's so weird. It was, all I can explain, it was like I've just woken up from a 2-week-long dream, and then I was woken up laying on the floor. I'm like, this is weird. I vaguely remember this. That sounds like
Jordan's sleep pattern.
Yeah, it was literally like that.
He misses 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, and that just like started worrying me. Like I'm thinking, like, what have I forgot? What have I forgotten? And that was just like all the other stuff, the broken bones and this, that, and the other. They hurt about a day after. Really, I think when you actually do it, you've got so much adrenaline in you, then it doesn't hurt till the day after, and you think, oh my God, it's so painful.
But with it for ages.
Yeah, dislocating shoulders was like not my favourite part of that. I remember laying on the NEC floor in Birmingham when my shoulder dislocated for 4 hours because I didn't know how to get it back in.
It's supposed to be amazing when it goes back in, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I learned how to get it back in now. It got to the point where I was pulling it back in my sleep. Like my shoulder used to dislocate in its sleep, and I know how to put it back in.
Imagine waking up to that.
Oh, I did. I remember I even now sleep with a pillow under my arm because I don't trust it. I've had surgery on it twice, but yeah, that's a horrible feeling. Shoulder dislocating and bones breaking, but I always feel it doesn't hurt until the next day. Truly.
I could talk about my bad back, but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, we know about the bad back.
Do you watch your own videos back?
I do, yeah. I do watch them. Because I feel like quite proud of them when I
watch mine. Don't think it's not as.
I think
I do.
I think what it is, I hate editing them. But when I've edited them, I'm like, yes, I've done it. It's like a thing. And once I've uploaded it, that's really the only time I've fully watched the video from start till finish, because I'm editing it and I don't watch it all in one section. So then I do watch the video back. So yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. And
I do.
Oh, you watch it again?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go back. I watch the road trip ones again because it's like such a good, it's a good time, and it's like memories and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't.
I do watch them back.
Yeah, when I surprised Hannah with Kevin, our dog, I filmed a video on that, and we watched that one back a few times when we got him and how small he was and things like that. It's stuff you can't, and Kevin loves it as well. He like barks at the screen and he watches. So yeah, there's like videos like that I'd watch back, but no, I spend most of the time watching other people on YouTube. And
Senna looks on the screen and says, "Daddy, watch mommy." Watch mommy. when we do that. But no, I definitely watch it back. I enjoy watching. I learn from watching and think that could have been better, or I like how we did that, and I like how that felt.
Yeah.
So I do watch. But Matt Watson, he never ever watches his own stuff ever.
Why?
Because he watches everybody else's and learns from all other people.
Yeah, that's
and he says he watches everybody, like watches you, watches.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, watches. Didn't say me, did he, or us? But he did mention you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did wonder. I do wonder.
That's Carwell. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's never watched a single one of yours, Matt.
No.
Never.
Do you know what? I always do wonder. I'm like, if these people watch my channel, or they know what. Like
he does. Yeah.
It's because I do a similar sort of thing. Like it's all research, isn't it? I'll watch I'll look on someone's channel, and then especially when I'm choosing on what car I'm going to do next, or so as well. Like I'll see, right, and even car wow as well. I know a lot of their best performing videos are Lamborghini and Teslas, so I know that's going to be a really good video. If somehow I can do a Lamborghini Tesla video, I know that video performs well for them. But sometimes you can look at it completely wrong. You can search a car up, say a random car, say a Ford Focus, and you can see the top video has got 1 million views. And you can say, 1 million people must be interested in Ford Focuses because there's that many views on that video. But if you go on that person's channel, 1 million views for them might be the worst performing video they've ever had. So you always have to look like that. 5%
of their audience.
Yeah. So I always look at what doing well for other people, why it's doing well for other people, what does well in America, what does well in different countries, doesn't do well here. So there's that side of things to consider about. I know especially a lot of the supercar modifying thing is more of an American thing. You start doing it here, people aren't that interested. It's a lot of like research and like analytical things that are involved, and especially that you can take from even like Mr. Beast as well. So like Mr. Beast does his titles and his thumbnails a certain way, but I feel like that works for him. We do it for an automotive YouTuber. It's not going to work as well. Some aspects you can take away from it, like the way he builds in retention for like the first 30 seconds of your video are like the most vital bit. And that goes for out of the whole of YouTube. Like I think that like correlates to everyone. The title and the thumbnail is the most sort of valuable thing as well. So why a video could do well, you could have an amazing video, but not your title and thumbnail. So there's those things you can take away from it. But some things I feel like it wouldn't work if you directly copied another creator. Like what works for you might not work for them as well.
And when you say a good video, what do you at the minute today class numbers wise as a good video? And I can't wait for you to answer this, because in say 5 years time, you're having, and you'll be like, oh my God, I was happy with.
Well, now
that would be the worst case now.
Now I'm always saying, right, this video's got to do 1 million views. That's what so just recently we seem to have broke this 1 million view barrier. So I don't know what it is. We'd never used to be able to break this barrier. It never had any of my videos get 1 million views. And as soon as I got one, then some others started reaching. And then it was only just recently we bought the Porsche, and that reached 1 million views in about a week or so. And then
1 million in a week.
Yeah, it's insane. But I feel there is, I mean, it's only Carwell doing consistent over 1 million views, I'd say. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah. But again, I would class them as they're a business. And it's, for a business, yes, you've got Matt presenting, and you do have to like Matt. Well, I don't really think you do have to like Matt to watch it, because you're tuning in for the cars. A lot of it's drag racing, so people are interested in the cars. You don't have to like Matt, or you don't have to dislike Matt to watch it. Whereas I feel if my stuff, it's, I would say, more limited, because you have to like me as a person to be able to watch me. Like people could see in the first 30 seconds, this guy's an idiot, his hat's backwards, he's a knob, and then they click off. So
that should be on your sort of Instagram as your description.
That's it.
Just put that for
idiot, hat backwards, knob. But I think when it's a business, it is different. And like the Carwell, they do amazing what they do, but yeah, so if you look at like your Shmees, your Stradmans, your DDEs, that sort of stuff, they're all individual people, I would say. And I still think you can get consistently, I would love to get consistently 1 million views per video. And I still think it's possible to do way over that with automotive stuff. But it's that limit with myself is that I'm a personality, and people have to like me to watch it, and not everyone's going to like me.
It's interesting I say about the numbers, because I was watching one of Ryan's videos not so long ago, and on there he said, I'm sure he said, if this video gets 2,000 likes, next time I'm going to do this. And I watched it, and it was like a 5-year-old video, and I thought, 2,000. So then I come straight out of it, and it was on like flipping like 150,000 likes.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And I'm thinking like at that time, 2,000 likes to him was just like,
it's crazy.
It was more than usual, and it was like a milestone.
That's
hit.
it.
And I think like now you must think get 2,000 likes in like
it's
an
nothing.
hour.
Yeah. But this is the thing, when you chase numbers, it doesn't end. Like if I was getting 1 million views per video, I know I'd be like, right, 10 million, or I'm not happy. Like it's the numbers thing is hard. It gives you motivation. Yes. But if your main reason is to chase the numbers, it's not going to work. It's so hard. But I was always like, right, if I get past 100,000 views, I was really happy. That was like my milestone for every video, 100,000 views. And I was doing that, and I was really happy with that. But then I got to a point where I was like, why am I not getting past that? Why can't is there a reason why I'm not reaching it? Is my videos are not as good, or is it not getting reached? I keep knocking the microphone, don't I? But yeah, and I was like, I don't know, why am I not getting past that? And eventually we got past it, and it felt like once I got past that point and I was doing 200,000 a video, it was like I'd unlocked that stage then, and like everyone was doing past that.
Good way,
and then it was, And now it's just recently a really good video will do 1 million views. I feel like it's more capable now, whereas before it felt like so unachievable to be able to do that. And now it's like I see 100,000 views done in like an hour or 2 hours or something. I think that is absolute wild. It's mental when you actually think about it. But how many 100,000 people sitting down and watching your video it makes me feel weird. But yeah,
this will blow your mind. Matt Watson, he does the thumbnails. He does the titles. And do you know how you changed your title and did that?
Yeah.
He does that himself.
Really? So does he? I'd love to, we need to all be on a podcast because I'd love to ask him a few things and pick his mind.
We'll definitely do one because like he'd love to come on with you.
He's been doing it for a long time as well. So he would know a lot of things as well. And I feel like YouTube changes what works in
But I couldn't believe that the size of that, like you and me, like that's different. But his, like you say, as a business, and he is the presenter. It's still not. He's not the 100% car wow, but then he's the one looking at his phone, checking the numbers. He's the one changing the thumbnail.
So yeah, it's so mental. Relieving as well to hear that because it's like it means like it's like he cares because like sometimes I'll upload a video like I've just said we just uploaded a road trip video. I was like, oh, in the first hour it's not done as well as the other ones, and then I'm like instantly change the thumbnail like and
how long do you leave? Like an hour? Is it?
I would say 45 minutes to an hour, but sometimes if it's not far off the bottom performing video, I'll be like, I'll leave it. But you know, sometimes when it's way off, you think something's definitely wrong there, and then you change it. Yeah, we did change it, and at the minute it seems to.
Where are we on now?
I've got it here. So I was on a 10 out of 10 in the first hour. Okay. Now we've moved to an 8 out of 10. So we've increased. Again, it's a longer video than usual. It's a different type of thumbnail. It's a road trip video, not a rebuild video. So I am expecting like either it's going to work a lot or it's not going to work. Yeah, that's it.
So I suppose you're sitting thinking this might be even better than the norm.
Yeah. But it's nice to hear that like Matt does change it because that means it's not just uploading videos for the sake of it.
Like him.
Yeah, it's not like some bloke in an office and
which I thought it would be, but like when Matt and his missus are sat down watching the tea, it's him who's trying to change a nappy and
and oh no, that's so interesting to hear because I saw him as a presenter, nothing else. I thought he was
exactly what we were like.
I thought he's a great presenter. There's no way he does the titles or thumbnails or anything like that. You think
crazy.
He's just almost like a TV presenter and that's
in
it.
And out.
Like I can guarantee you there's Hammond or out like that does not do the title and thumbnails on the YouTube videos or anything like that. But yeah, that's quite cool to hear that actually. How did that even start from? I'm guessing he was just like starting from doing the YouTube side of things.
He was an editor at Autocar.
Oh, was he? So he sort of like in that sort of era.
Yeah, in that. And obviously then when the whole world went from paper to obviously online,
then
we were saying, we were having this conversation, I think it was last night when we were going over to Adam's. Like, I feel that when you're really good at something, so say like you've got this magazine publisher, which has got a really strong title, and say at that time, we're then going over to digital. But when you're really good at something and you believe in what you're good at, that can also be your downfall because you don't want to change because you're holding 100%. You're holding on to that. So I feel like some of those magazine companies went, no, we're not going digital. We're fucking brilliant at what we do. We're the best in the market. And they haven't switched and swapped. Well, some of the smaller people have gone, we've got fuck all to lose.
Yeah.
Like, we're not that good at it anyway.
And that's what's made them.
Then they've got good.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're too good at something, it is difficult to make that next step because you're scared of wrecking what's already good.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people always say to me, my dad was always one for saying, stick to what you're good at.
Yeah.
And if you're good at something, like, I suppose only go somewhere else when you're already the best but the point being is if you're good at something, try and earn your money out of what you're good at rather than diluting yourself. But then other people say they've got lots of fingers. Look at Yanni, got fingers in so many other pies and it works. So So like, you know,
it really depends what your motivation is, isn't it? Because I feel for me, if I'm interested in something, I'll do well at it because I will dedicate I'll get so hyper focused on it. It was things, even down to like the littlest things. We got a simulator in the unit, and the lad at Mallory Performance, he was British Superbike racer, and he's amazing at simulator. He knows tracks, he's good at it and everything like that. But because we get so competitive, I'll then be like, I need to win. And then now I'll get like on the simulator all the time because I'm focused on it. And then, but I've got motivation to do that. And then, whereas if you sat me in an English exam, I feel like if I was really into it, I'd probably do well because I dedicate myself to it. But if I'm not into it, it's the same. If I went and go and work for Tesco's tomorrow or something, I wouldn't be the best employee because I'm not interested in it. Or you've got to be, I feel for me, I've got to be dedicated to whatever I'm doing to do well at it.
But this is really good, which I heard the other day, which I can't remember who said this, but they were saying that it was either Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. One of them employs lazy people.
Oh, to find a better way
of doing something.
Of doing things. Yeah, see that does make sense.
He said that a lazy person will always find the easiest way to get to the end goal. How genius is that to look at it that way? But like, because me, employ lazy people and you think, no, I need somebody. But yeah, sometimes.
See, I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, it's not a bad idea at all.
But that's why with work, my work, I go there and pretty much like how you explain what you used to go through. Like I go there and it's absolutely fine. I don't mind going, but it's not something. I don't love selling ratchet straps. You know, it's not but it's a family business. It's great. We all get on well. It's fine. But to do something which your heart wants. Yeah. Sometimes like when people are arty or performers or whatever, then they know that if they follow their heart, they're never going to have a big house or a big car or anything like that. Yeah. So it's real difficult, isn't it, to sort of like to chase your dream, but also if your dream isn't going to be that thing which is is never going to make you a load of money. Yeah, I think obviously with what you've done now, really, hopefully it's going to change yours and Hannah's life.
I think that's the thing. I think there is a way of making money out of everything if you're clever with it. It just so happens that I'm passionate about rebuilding cars and everything, and I could have took so many routes with that. It just so happens YouTube has been the route I've taken, and I've managed to make money from it somehow. But I was exactly the same position. I used to go work 9 to 5. I didn't hate the job. It was a great job. Got paid. It wasn't bad pay for what I did. I only worked 4 days a week, not 5 days. And I worked 1 day at Mallory Performance. It's another story. But that I enjoyed what I did. And then I was more passionate about rebuilding cars, and it was something that like I couldn't wait to get up in the morning to do. And then I think just with YouTube, it was like almost by chance I didn't realize you could make that much money through YouTube. I didn't realize that, but I think there is, especially now with the internet, there's a lot of ways to make money out of a lot of passions. I mean, we've seen Francis Bourgois, bring him up all the time. He loves train spotting. He's now got brand deals with Gucci and this, that, and the other. It just because he loves trains, and he watches trains, he does train spotting, and he gets excited when trains come past. And now he's making a living out of it. If he can make a living out of doing that, I'm sure anyone can. But yeah, it's having that jump to do it. There's no way he would have thought he was going to make any money doing that.
And has any of your friends, people who you know, said, I've now gone YouTube because I've watched you and seen that it is possible?
What, now started YouTube and doing stuff? Oh yeah, there's a lot of people, and I think you go to any school as well, you go and ask what do the kids want to do now, and they're like, I want to be a YouTuber. And
I mean, sort of like, do you know some of your friends, and they've said, after watching you've done it, you've inspired me, and now they're going to do it, people you know?
Brad, yeah. So I think he does, he's a PT, a personal trainer, and he's started doing YouTube because of it. He's seen me do it, seen that I'm just a regular guy. There's no secret to it. I've just managed to sort of wing it as I go along. And he's started doing YouTube now and that sort of stuff. But again, I told it's not an overnight thing.
That's the thing.
He's been doing it. He's still doing it. And I'm glad he is, because it's been about 2 years and he's stuck at this same, he's not got 1,000 subscribers yet, has he? I don't think he's got 1,000 subscribers yet.
But he's sticking.
Been doing it 2 years. And yeah, at that point as well, like sometimes he has messaged me and said like, oh, do you mind sharing this in your story? But I don't want loads of people to go over there because I've shared it. Like I think it's so much better for him to do the organic way, because when it does happen, it will happen so much better for him. But he's got to keep going, but he is sticking to it. And I think that's the thing. But if it was easy, everyone would do it. But there is, a few people that think, oh, it is easy, and then they start it and then they realise, okay, it's not as easy to make out.
I've got a few friends that they've said, oh, I've tried it, and they're going to try it, and they literally put 3 videos up.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, it's done. It's not an overnight thing, 100%.
And I think to myself, what you did was good.
Yeah.
But just because it got 50 views or 100 views doesn't mean the next one's going to. And
that's it.
It is hard. But I've been lucky because of Jordan and Ryan. We had that bump start.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got something that people would watch as well, and you've got the right audience, and there's that content with it. But everyone would find. I think people could be into the weirdest thing, and there'll still be that niche of people that would love watching what they enjoy as well. If you've got a passion, there's tons of other people who've got the same passion as you. It's just them needing to find your content, which is the hardest part about it. It's sussing that algorithm out and keeping consistent until you find the right way to reach that audience. But
that's why I think these podcasts can help as well. I really do. I think this could be good for your channel, our channel. I think that the sort of people get to see you rather than just a guy who fixes a car.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
because we don't get to know about you.
No, because
we get to know how difficult a car is, and like you as a personality behind building a car. But we don't get to hear or see what you're like,
because people will turn off eventually. But if I kept talking about me rather than the car, there'd be those people that don't watch it for me and watch it for the car. They'll be turning off. Which is why
guy with on backwards who's a knob.
Yeah, that's it. We made this. We just decided to make a second channel, which we thought was, I don't know why we've not done it sooner. Which is things which we're going to be putting in the second channel more, stuff that we wouldn't be able to fit in the main channel. And I think a lot of people will be interested in a lot of things that happen behind the scenes.
Brilliant! And is that now?
Yes. So now. It is live. Hannah's editing all the stuff for it. And it is really raw stuff.
And what's it called?
It's Mat Armstrong Mark II. So we've just like a car. Yeah. So Mark II, like a car. And we're basically just uploading stuff that wouldn't make it into the main videos. There's a lot of things that we do behind the scenes, mainly all car related, which there'll be sometimes like, one of the cars will need fixing and I'll fix it off camera, but it's not enough to make a video out of it. But that might be interesting for somebody else, or it still might be interesting for people, but it's not long enough to make a video out of it. Or for example, with the Aston Martin, we've just done a video doing a full exhaust system on it. After that, Quicksilver has said, we'll send you a back box for it. I can't make a video of just fitting a back box because people expect a lot more in a video, but that's perfect for second channel video.
Yeah. And people who want to watch more of you as well.
That's it. Yeah, it's more raw things, what I get up to every day and what makes me make the decisions I do. And then also a lot of updates on the cars that we have on the channel. So
of course, because I suppose once you finish with that, you can't just do a 10-minute
attempt. Yeah, that's it. And then a lot of the time as well, I won't talk about another car. If I'm making a video on a Porsche, I won't talk about another project in the background because the video's solely got to be on that Porsche. Everyone's watching that video because of the Porsche. So then I get a lot of comments saying, what's going on with this? What's going on with that?
Can't answer that.
Whereas the second channel is going to cover all of that. I see all the other cars every day, but the people who watch my videos don't. So they think, that car's disappeared. Whereas I see my old BMW every day. I see the Maserati every day, but some people on YouTube haven't seen that for a long time.
So a bit more fly on the wall documentary type stuff as well.
Yeah. And And you know what, people, it might end up doing better than the main channel because it's more of stuff that we just throwing it out there and let people just, whether they like it or not, it's up to them. But yeah, sometimes when you over edit something and you spend so much time on it, it's not as good as some of the times where it's less effort.
Well, I think that'd be a bit more fun to film as well.
Oh yeah. And it's a bit more laid back. I don't have to think so much about the camera angles, what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. We filmed a bit when we was here, and then we've filmed a bit this morning. We had to re-put in the engine back in the E24 because we're moving it out, getting ready for another car, but we wouldn't have filmed that.
So this is like basically iPhone-y.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We're going to film it all on the iPhone. Another sort of kind of like marketing way, because we don't want it to look similar to the first channel, that people click on these videos and think it's the main channel videos and think, oh, the quality's dropped a bit. This isn't really the same. We want it to be obvious that it's a second channel and another one. We don't want people to be like, why has he changed the way he's filmed? Or
so when did that go live?
So today it's going live Tuesday, the first ever video, and we're announcing everything all on Tuesday. So I don't know when this goes live, but it would definitely be live.
Yeah, so yeah, this will be after. So it would definitely be live now. You can go check that out.
Yeah, so it would be live now, yeah.
So how many subs has that got?
None yet.
And it's totally hidden.
It's nothing at the minute, and that would be so interesting to find out whether if I can get another YouTube plaque from, like, imagine like one video would be amazing. I'm expecting.
Yeah. So where do you want it to be?
I'm expecting, I would say, if my videos can do 10% of the views I do on mine, say if I'm doing 300 to 500,000 views, if I'm doing 30 to 50,000 views per video on my second channel, I would be more than happy. I think that's the people that are really interested in me and they're watching that.
And if you can have 100K plaque as well.
If I got 100K subscribers, that's my goal. If I can get another plaque for the second channel, I would be absolutely over the moon. But I just think it should have been something I'd done way earlier, because there's so many things that we miss which would have been good to put in the second channel. It makes total sense.
Now you've said about sort of like how you've just explained it, then it makes total sense.
Yeah, there's so many things, isn't there? That it just it's not enough to make it into a main video. But there is enough for someone to be interested in it.
Like, say you do, say the Aston Martin, how many parts was that? So like,
it's about 14 episodes now, yeah.
So people must, when that finished, must be gutted that it's finished.
Oh yeah, and then they don't see it again. And that's why people get upset as well when I get rid of the car. And I'm like, why are you getting upset that I'm getting rid of a car?
Because they've been invested in it.
Yeah, they're invested. And I see it every day, so it becomes a norm. If you're seeing it on the second channel more, you get to see so many more things about it. And if you are invested in that car, you will get to see it. The poor old Maserati, there's people that love that car, and I love the car. I get to see it every day, but people who watch the channel don't. Like, it's hidden, it's literally in my garden. So like no one gets to see it, but I get to see it every day, and it becomes normal to me. But yeah, there's those side of things, and just other little things that we have to do. And a lot of the car fixing stuff, I do a lot off camera because it's not interesting enough for my main channel, or it doesn't make sense to do it on my main channel. So we've rebuilt the Range Rover. We've done everything on the Range Rover now, but we've still got this traction controller that's coming on and stuff like that. And today we're having a little bit of a plug-in and trying to work out what it is, but it's not enough for one video. But people love the Range Rover, don't they? So
can we have Dave on?
Dave would be brilliant on the
Mark II.
Yeah, I think we need to have a feature of Dave on the.
I'd love to see Dave.
Mark II, yeah. And he's got an amazing unit as well. Noble's in there. He's got V8 Vantage race cars. V12. It's a V12 he's got in there. He works on some amazing cars, and he's so laid back, and he fixes everything. He's just like is next level. But yeah, Dave needs his own channel. I think we need to make a channel for Dave. It'd be so interesting. Like, he does so many cool cars, like, and he don't care. Like, it'd just be like an M3, E46 M3. Like, it was like a special edition one where he had, I don't know what model it was. It was proper nice. He was working on it like the other day. I'm like, oh, what's this? He goes, oh, this was one that's been around this track or done this, that, and the other, whatever. Got some mad history to it, and he's just working on it. I'm like, God, you do some good views on YouTube. And
that sounds like Ryan when he came here, wasn't it?
Yeah,
exactly the same.
That's what it reminds me of. He's done, when I said, I'm going to Hammond's place, he goes, oh yeah, we did the road trip with Hammond he was the mechanic for when Hammond drove the Noble, when the other Clarkson was in the Aventador, and there was a McLaren as well. Dave went round and he was the mechanic for the Noble. So he was doing, when they was doing the top speed test, he was making sure it was okay and stuff like that. He showed me all these photos and stuff, and bloody hell, you need to be on YouTube. Like all this stuff that he's got, it is great. You could make content from him himself, but yeah, he is good. That's going to be on. It's got to be Mark II channel. That is definitely.
So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. And don't forget to watch, obviously, Matt's new channel as well, Mark II, and also our normal channel, Mark McCann 64. But please drop us a comment below, because we'd love to know who you want to see next. So drop us a list below and we'll try and get them on. Thanks for watching. See you next time.